biggest mistake we see with people when they're making their 1-minute videos. You just, all of a sudden, you've polluted your why video. All right, so today we're in week 3 of our $1 a day program, which is on content. You guys know that there's a 6-phase process: plumbing, goals, content, which is this week, targeting, amplification, and optimization. And I want to make sure that everyone gets this week done correctly, because if you don't have the right content, it doesn't matter how well you amplify it. So I want you guys to a couple really cool exercises. So you can see I've produced a lot of content myself. Everything in $1 a day is based on living, breathing examples. It's not theory, as you know. And part of being better known is people know you, like you, and trust you. And by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute and go ahead and ask. This is a live session. But if you don't have something to say or whatnot, or if you're like doing stuff in the background, just go ahead and mute if you could. Okay. So if you don't have a personal brand manager, which is not a person, but a document that has all these different items together, which then you can process, which is kind of a separate thing, as part of the content factory, I encourage you to do that. I know some folks here, like I see Corey and Howard and other folks that have larger teams. You probably do want to collect and organize these sorts of components. It's not necessary to have these components in place, but as you start to have more content and you're spending more money on ads, initially you're spending $1 a day, you might be spending, $300 a month. But as you start to spend 10 grand, 20 grand a month, you're going to find that this kind of framework really is going to help you quite a bit. Okay, so today we're talking about the content phase. So we're module 3 of 6 of the 6-phase process here, social amplification engine. And I want to show you a cool exercise that I've used for the last 10 plus years. I think you guys may have already seen it before, but I'm going to sketch this out. And I want you to follow along and then let me know which of these pieces you have and which of them you don't have. So I'm going to switch my view here. Okay, can you see this? I think I'm actually upside down. I think I got to go this way for you guys to see. Okay. All right. Here we go. You see that okay? Go like that. All right. So everyone's aware. Yeah, I'll move it over here so it's in the middle. Everyone's aware of the, let's make this.
Ernest, can you maybe stop presenting so we can see?
Oh yeah, stop
the image.
Stop the screen share. Okay, here we go. You see that better? Let's make this. I'm actually using the iPhone as the camera. Isn't that neat? Okay. So when you go in and you run ads on Google, on Facebook, on TikTok, on LinkedIn or whatnot, they ask you to choose of 3 major campaign objectives. So there's awareness, consideration, and conversion. And then within each of these, there's sub-buckets, such as like reach or video views or leads or, sales or conversion kinds of events. But the way we translate this is that awareness is why, consideration is how, and conversion is what. And remember, this is true across every single advertising platform. Even Google has the same kind of thing. And the reason why it's exactly the same, they literally use the words awareness, consideration, and conversion, is that the psychology behind people who buy is still the same. So when we think about a why video, it's a story. So, when I was 18, I dropped out of high school and I wanted to be a professional runner for for Nike. I wanted to be a cross-country runner, right? So that's a 1-minute video about that. And another why video, how did I start my business? Well, I was mentored by the CEO of American Airlines, and he opened the doors for me, and I want to open the doors for other people at a much larger scale. So that's why I Blitz Metrics, and I would create 1 million jobs, right? There's a story about that. Or one time, this one lady got mad at me because I did a favor for her. And then I realized that, you know, you really should work with the best people, even if you don't think you're ready, because, you know, the more they pay, the more they treat you well, and the less they pay, you know, the more they expect, you know, whatever it might be. Like, these are all different stories, right? We can think about the stories in our lives, and these are all why stories. These are the ways that people get to know you and like you and trust you, right? But this can often build authority because it shows who you're with. It shows what you're working on. It shows you're not selling, which is down here, and you're not showing how you're doing stuff. You're just giving a sense of what matters to you and who you're with. And like, if you look at my
living, but if you work harder on yourself.
What was that, Maria? You work harder on yourself? Okay. I think this is the issue when you got too many people in a group. So everyone should be on mute, by the way. So if I go back to my personal brand manager, because we're all founders, right? All of us are selling based on reputation because people know who we are. And there's a lot of people that offer what appears to be the same kind of thing. So reputation happens because of, you know, being on TV or having your articles out there, or you're on other people's podcasts, or you publish a book, or there's all these different things that show who you're with to demonstrate what we call perceived authority. Dollar a Day is very good at building perceived authority. And if you're not driving the kind of sales you want, it's probably because you don't have the perceived authority. The actual authority is you're Rob Jensen, and you know how to sell real estate in Las Vegas, but other people don't know that. So you have to build the perceived authority. So if I perceived authority with, you know, Isaac Irvine at GoDaddy, who runs the executives and customer service, then I probably know something about domains and GoDaddy and all that, right? Or if I'm friends with so-and-so, Barry Habib, I probably know something about mortgages, right? Or I'm with Gary Vaynerchuk, or I'm with Tom Ferry, or whatever it is. Like, these co-created content creates that perceived authority. Okay. So when we come back here, how do we take our experience and knowledge and things we're selling in such a way that we can use Dollar a Day in an effective way? Well, show your knowledge. So when is the right time to buy a house? Or, like, for me, why is 10% the threshold for whether a video is successful for Dollar a Day? Like, why do we need 10% of people engaging? Well, there's a whole thing around that, right? So I'm sharing my knowledge. How do you do something? How did you achieve a certain result? You know, think about what you have. And let me just ask you here, put into the chat, do you have 1-minute videos where you or someone else is sharing how, you know, Tom Hawkins knows something about running a car dealership and training up salespeople, and how he learned from his dad, or something like that, right? Or how you build a reputation in a small town to sell Chevys, and how people who are coming to the dealership with the internet pricing, how do we deal with these internet guru people? You know, how do we deal with all these situations? So there's this how. And yeah, Kyle's got a ton of it because of his paperless agent, the nature of, you know, him and Chris and the other folks. And then the last part is the what. And this is what most people think marketing is. So what is you are selling? Buy my thing, sign up for the webinar, put in your email address. We have some special, we have a webinar, whatever it might be. So what I sketched out here just now is this 3x3. So we have 3 why, 3 how, and 3 what. So this is what today is about. I want to know, you have 3 1-minute videos in each of these sections. So this is the 3x3 grid. Why is a 3 not even looking like a 3? I like a doctor's handwriting. So this 3x3 matrix is what we're going to insert into this big machine, which is a big Keurig machine, you know, the Facebook ads machine, the Google ads machine, whatever, LinkedIn ads machine, Twitter ads machine. We're going to stick these videos in here and let the system tell us what the winner is. So we're going to proceed next week into starting to do some of the boosting and some of the ads. But if you don't have these necessary ingredients, it doesn't matter how fancy this box is, this machine that does all the sub-targeting and drives sales and does, you know, all the influence and these kinds of things. So I want to stop there for a moment and see where you guys at with producing this kind of content. So Matt says, still working on it. Kyle's got a ton of it. It's just got to be organized into this structure. the content library and the personal brand manager, especially because you have 2 or 3 figureheads. Kyle's a figurehead too. Oh, Melissa, I hope you're feeling better. Okay. Corey's got it in progress. So see, Corey's one of those. Corey Vanderberg is one of the, we call him a cobbler's son who has no shoes. So he runs a successful agency serving lawyers, mostly personal injury lawyers. And he himself has not done a lot for his personal brand, which of course the answer is I'm so busy working on my clients that I have not worked on my personal brand. And, oftentimes you do such a good job, you don't need to do any marketing because your clients do the thing for you. But the key is you need these assets. If you don't have these assets, then start with yourself. Maybe you're Rob Jensen or, and you make these 1-minute videos. You can be done with this in half an hour. Why? Because you just come up with these topics, have ChatGPT tell you what these topics are, and you make these topics. Stop the procrastinating, literally just make them so easy. Then we can put this on I'm going to switch the video view. Then we can switch it, or so we can move it to your market scale account, or you can blog on my blog. Like, this is what I'm giving you guys. Are not, some of you are, but not everyone here is taking advantage of what I'm giving you here. This is not a course where you're sitting here watching me talk. That's ridiculous. These are things I'm offering you. Like, you should have a profile here on market scale. You see this site? It's a DR73. If you don't have SEO power on your site, meaning you don't have links coming into your site, you need links like this. But in order to have having a profile here doesn't do anything for you, because you need to have all the other content that you have. And it could be stuff you've made from years ago, articles, being in the news, or it doesn't even have to be like TV news. It just blogs, guest blog posts, right? And then if you've got your 9 things, then go ahead and post those 1-minute videos, and our team will edit them. Our team is editing your videos for you. Some of you guys have gotten it out there, which is great. I love it. Some people are action takers. I'm offering this to all you guys here, right? Like, come here and message Stephanie at blitzmetrics.com if you have not gotten your contributor account, and make 9 videos, right? 3 why, 3 how, 3 what. Most of you're going to, you'll make those initial 9, but the ones that are going to be most powerful are the ones where you're doing how. So think of it like a sandwich, and the meat is the how in the middle, that middle layer. Most of your content's going to be how, because you're sharing your expertise. You're not selling. You're not, if you do enough expertise, people want to come to you. They want to work with you, right? Especially if the content that you are boosting, initially you make the content if you don't have that. But if you're someone like Ron or Howard or Kyle or some of these other folks where you've got a raving customer base, then your content's already made for you. You just interview these other people on the podcast, take the highlights out of those, and then this gets repurposed into places like this. So this is a contributor account. If you want a contributor account on my site, here, I'll show you. I'll show you how easy this is. You literally just need to freaking do it. Okay. It's like some mental game, Berman. Like, most of it's like a head game, why people don't do this. I don't know why they don't. I know why they don't do it. It's a head game. But here's an example. My friend Alex Berman, right? He's a cold email king, best-selling book, has a 7-figure agency and 3 SaaS companies. And this is his whole thing talking about, who he is. And he and I have been all over the world. We were in India recently, which is really cool, and Pakistan and Kosovo and other folks. Or actually, no, he wasn't with me in Kosovo. Florian was in Kosovo. But this ranks for Alex because it shows his story. He didn't even write this story. This is from stuff that we knew about him, and we created a bio about him. And because I have it on my phone, everything's being categorized on my phone. Here's Google Photos. You can do the same thing. You should do the same thing too. I have everything with Alex Berman already here, right? Everything categorized as Alex Berman. Me, Alex and Rudy and I, or Alex and I eating corn India, we're at the Taj Mahal or whatever, right? Like this stuff is all auto categorized. So you should be doing this. You're a founder, or even if you're Kyle, you're not the CMO, but the VP of marketing, which in my opinion is the same thing in a small company. Like you should already have this categorized, because then ChatGPT or whatever can take this and turn this into articles. Like we can create an article here about what I learned from hanging out at the Taj Mahal. And I could say, what are 5 interesting things about the Taj Mahal. But there's a lot of people that have done that relate specifically to, and I'll just say, Corey's here. So we'll just, because he serves personal injury attorneys, right? You can always make anything relevant to anything. You just need to find a clever way, right? And then this thing writes an article. Of course, it sprinkles in my pictures, sprinkles in my other things, and all the AI tools. I get hit up every day by multiple AI tools that will, claim to chop up a video automatically. And yes, they do that, claim to write articles, claim to do all this other kind of stuff. But here's stuff that they're writing. So I could make videos from this. I could use this as a framework, excuse me, to organize what I already have about the Taj Mahal and this. And then I could turn those into guest blog posts for anyone. So anyone's site here. So I could say, if I were to, I could tell the system, okay, great, it's doing that. I'll say stop. And I'll say, now write, do it as a guest blog post for Sean Hurdle. Is there enough on Sean Hurdle to do this? Maybe. Or it'll say, I don't know enough about Sean Hurdle. Oh, maybe it does, But you see how you can take any of your life experiences and turn it into blog posts and articles and stories and whatnot. I can literally go to, like, this is a gold mine. I don't know why people don't do this, because they think that personal branding is like, look at me and how important I am. And, it's not. It's honoring other people. So yesterday I was with this guy, Josh, who has 3.5 million followers on subscribers on YouTube. And we were having dinner and we hung out at another friend's house. I was on the podcast. You can see all this, right? All this behind the scenes stuff, sports cars, mansions, right? But we're sharing his expertise. So his expertise, for example, check this out. This is an example of a how. So Josh, with his 3.5 million subscribers on YouTube, you probably have seen his videos, like where he gives a homeless guy $100 and gives the guy another $100 when he used the money to buy food for his other friends instead of liquor. And then he blew up and got 52 million views on that video and all this. But here, what he's doing is I gave him some magic berries, and he made a video he found it on Amazon, and you can see he's making a video about the magic berries. And we're trying the lemons, you chew the magic berry and then all the lemons become sweet. It's a really cool thing, right? It's gone big on TikTok, and he's leaving a review, and he's making hundreds of dollars now on Amazon as an affiliate by just picking up random stuff, finding it on Amazon, whether he bought it on Amazon or not, and saying, this is what I'm doing. And it's not even using his traffic. It has nothing to do with him having millions of followers. Like, any of us can do that. Now that I told you, the cat's out of the bag, right? There's people that are making hundreds of dollars a day just by literally picking up their cell phone, not showing their face, and saying, look, he's saying, yeah, this is really good. And it turns everything sweet. You can see. No microphone, no cinematography, no fancy, literally just his cell phone. And he's demonstrating a really cool tip. And so I'm just sharing the expertise that other people have. And I thought that was valuable. So there's Craig Handley, and there's some of these other people I met. Oh, there's Cuba Gooding Jr. I saw him a couple days ago at a special party. It was a fight. Who was the name of the fighter? I don't remember the names of these fighters. But this is the guy, you know, this is a famous actor. And he and I had a conversation about movies and how do you do a selfie. And so I have a simple post I can make. Cuba Gooding Jr., even though he's a big time actor and is famous, he's a normal kind of guy. And he showed me, you know, when you want to take a selfie, hold the cell phone up higher. And because it doesn't, you know, if you hold it lower, it looks like your chin's fatter, and walk up to the light. So we walked up to the light and we took a good selfie, right? There's a story here. And it's not because I'm trying to show that I'm hanging around with famous actors. You can literally see this is right off my phone from the last couple of days. Where have I been, right? I was at the trampoline park. Look, I'm at the trampoline park trying to slam dunk the basketball, right? Oh, I missed it. I don't want to play that one. Okay. But you see, there's all these different stories. I'm with my friend who helps other authors get their books out there. So I'm promoting his book. All the stuff I have is promoting other people. So I would ask you, when you look back at the content that you have, if you don't have this 3x3 grid, then you make these initial 1-minute videos, pull them off your phone. If you already have stuff on your phone and you're organizing it, if you already have this, now the higher authority move is let your audience do this for you, right? Let the people you know, let the people that you're with. You're not trying to be paparazzi, Gary Vaynerchuk, show yourself every minute of every day, everything you're eating. I'm not saying that, but you're growing your brand because you're honoring these other people. And then these become 1-minute videos that you put in here. All right. So I see a whole mix of people that have joined this program, which is fine. The guarantee I'm offering is if you have assets that are working and you're doing at least $100,000 a month, you'll get another $20,000 a month. But if you don't have those assets, guarantee doesn't apply, but it doesn't mean you're not going to get value out of this, right? But I want to stop right there for a minute and see, what do you guys think about this? About these 1-minute videos, about the structure of the 3x3, about how your audience does the work for you, about how each video is just a little story, one moment in time, not your whole life summary, right? We've done this thing thousands of times with the $1 a day program. We know what the most common mistakes are that people are making. What is stopping you where you are? Is it that you don't like your hair? You're afraid of being embarrassed. You won't make your videos. You need a video VA. You're too busy. You don't have a personal brand website. What is the thing here? Let's see.
I have a quick question. Should I put it in the chat or?
Just say it.
I have a quick question. Should we be careful to not try to put the why and the how in the same 1-minute video?
You generally want to separate them. So, Sean, let's say that you like coffee and you like orange juice. What would happen if you put them both together? That would taste really good, right?
That'd be horrible.
Be nasty. Yeah. So generally you want to keep them separate. And so the biggest mistake we see with people when they're making their 1-minute videos is they get carried away. And so they tell a story and then they say, and I'm Parker Nathans and I run Webinar Wins. And if you want a webinar and you want to succeed, then you can call me and I'll help you. And we have a coaching program. And like, you just, all of a sudden you've polluted your why video, right? The why video could be the first time I met Alex Berman. He and I were eating food with our hands at this authentic Indian restaurant. And here's some things I learned about Alex. He's been in India like 3 times. And he just one time he said, you know what? F it. I'm going to India next week. I'm like, what? And so that could be the story, right? Just like that. But then if you start going into, and I also sell webinars. And if you want a webinar, like pretty soon, and then it's like, whoa. Like now all of a sudden you've made a what video. So a lot of people, they make what they think are why videos or how videos, but they just can't seem to resist selling. So you, at the end, you can say, I'm sure Sean Hurdle, and I help these people do this particular thing. And that's it. Like one sentence, XYZ, right? I help these people achieve these goals via this thing I have, this program, product or service I have. I help people get into their best house, or, buyers and sellers in Las Vegas be able to, navigate the whole process in real estate. I'm Rob Jensen. That's it, right? No more than that. If you start going on and on and on and on, you've ruined that video. And then when the algorithm sees this, it's not able to categorize it as why, how, and what. So let me ask you guys, do you believe that when I say the algorithm, I'm talking about Amazon, Facebook, TikTok, all of them. They all use the same algorithm. Okay. It's not like a big secret. Among engineers like me, it's not a secret. We all know this. Okay. It's the same. Believe me. The stuff that categorizes what you see in Amazon, people who bought this also bought that. Same algorithm as the Facebook news feed. Okay. Do you believe, I'm asking this not just rhetorically, put it into the chat. Do you believe that the system is able, the algorithm is able to categorize your videos as why, how, and what? What do you think? Put into the chat. Do you think it can? Oh, it can. Yeah, that's right, Jason, Parker, Sean. Of course it does. It does. I promise you it does. I was basically doing this 25 years ago at Yahoo. We could do this, okay? And just imagine how sophisticated they are now. So given that you know that the places we're advertising $1 a day, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever, Twitter, given that it can categorize what kind of content it is, because it's freaking asking you, is it awareness, consideration, or conversion? So it's literally telling you what it wants. So of course it can categorize it. But if you boost a post and that's mid-funnel engagement for how, and you mix in what content, then what's the system supposed to do? It can't separate out your it's not right now, as of 2023, it's not allowed to rip apart your video into different components. It will do that soon, but it can't. So you need to feed it the right ingredients the right way. So Dan Euland has the coaching program for these kids, the high ticket program. And he's got a lot to say about all the people that he's coached personally, because he's freaking done it himself. Well, if he starts talking about, here's how you get into the best college and how you write the essay and do extracurricular stuff, and here's how my coaching program works, and here's how, like, he's mixed everything together and the system can't categorize it properly. You see? And then let's say Dan didn't know about $1 a day and how we need to have things in these different component stages. And he just starts, he makes these videos that go way over 1 minute, because he starts adding in all this. By the way, if your video goes over 1 minute, it means you have gone beyond the scope of that one story, and or you've gone into trying to sell and all this other stuff, right? That's why the reason why it's a 1 minute video is like it keeps it tight to that one story. And that way we can test individual little components. Boom, 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 boom.
Can you elaborate?
Isolate those components.
Can you elaborate on the story? Like, I think one thing that stopped me at first, and I think I've figured this out, but I'd love to just hear you directly say it, is that I was struggling with the degree to which the story has to connect to some like hard-hitting, meaningful marketing principle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or can it just be a story just for the sake of it? So,
okay, you ask a really good question, Corey. This is I'm glad you asked it. It's almost like I planted you here. So a lot of people think that you as a professional selling services to lawyers, right? Lawyers want more phone calls that turn into cases, right? Of course, that's what they want. You might think that on the internet, you should only post things related to, here's the latest things about SEO and Google Eat. And here's like why you need to update your Google business profile and list out all your services. And here's like professional information, right? Because after all, you're dealing with these other professionals and you have to be professional too. I deal with mostly doctors and lawyers. These people are very educated, okay? And they want to be wearing the suit and the lab coat and all very professional, medical doctor, Harvard trained, this kind of thing, right? But guess what? People buy from people. So Daryl Isaacs is out there half naked in the jacuzzi. And yes, he's lost 70 pounds, but he's not a skinny man either. And he's talking about eating 10 hard-boiled eggs in the morning. I'm not saying you need to do that, okay? But I'm just saying people engaged with other people. So what we do, and share, of course, to your personality and what makes sense for you. But like here, I'm hanging out with this guy, Eric, and I'm wearing a neon t-shirt because I'm about to go to Sky Zone. Is this professional at all?
So let me just make
no, I know what you're saying about the story. I'm heading into it. I know where you're going.
Okay.
Yeah. So the nature of the content is going to tie to your topic wheel. Okay. So the topic wheel has 6 components. 3 that are professional and 3 that are personal. And people will want to see a mix of those, because if it's only SEO for lawyers and PPC for lawyers and WordPress for lawyers or whatever, like LSA for lawyers, okay, that's good. Those could be 3 of these, but then the other 3 are going to be something about really cool taco places in Salt Lake City. Like you and I, we had tacos a couple weeks ago. That was pretty awesome, right? Does that have anything to do with personal injury and digital marketing? No. But then the question is, well, why are you doing that? Is it because we're just trying to show Corey is like this Jeep guy and he likes to see the world and he's like a good person? And no, that's not it at all. The underlying psychology is this. Listen to this carefully. You are building perceived authority. The entire thing around dollar a day and digital marketing for lead gen and whatnot is building perceived authority. Perceived authority, authority comes from 3 components: who, where, and what. So who you are with. So if you see that I am with, one of these people, let's say one of these people that's well known in the world of business, maybe not Karl Rove. I probably need to remove Karl Rove because then people are going to think that I'm some kind of manipulator. But I'm with Stuart Draper, right? Stuart Draper, he runs a big educational institution, and we've got a bunch of courses with Stu Kent. And, he's in Idaho, LDS, so this works very well with people that are LDS or who are educators. And Stuart and I hiking and making videos together and eating a 5-pound cheeseburger is great. Now, are we talking about digital marketing? Let me show you. I have a lot of stories. So I'll literally show you. I'll just grab this one, Idaho. So I'm hiking with Stuart and his team, and we're going on this backwoods thing, which I nearly gave up because it was just so strenuous. And this is the fat Dennis who's strenuous. You can see, like, we're doing all this hiking and we're making little videos along the way about digital marketing, right? But we're also just hanging out and eating this 5-pound cheese, 5 pounds of beef, and I don't know how many slices of cheese and how many pounds of bacon, but like, we're just hanging out. But there's a mix of this to show that we have the relationship, but also show we have the expertise, right? Because if you show only the expertise, A, it doesn't look human. B, it looks like you must have only met them at a conference. It looks like the relationship is not as deep as it could be, right? But when I'm hanging out at Daryl Isaac's house and we're both in the jacuzzi, and like that's a lot deeper than taking a picture with somebody at a conference, right? But we're also doing professional content here. And so it shows in multiple places. It's not only this casual kind of stuff. If I take a look at Stu Kent and the training programs we have with young adults, there's a ton of these ones. Like here, how do you use Clubhouse? Not that anyone's doing that anymore, but there's this. So people might come in on a professional piece of content. They might learn about, like, what's it like doing Facebook ads for the Golden State Warriors? Well, here's all the stuff we learned, but also I see them hanging. So when you have different stages of the funnel, you're going to tell different stories. So when you have the most here, so in a couple hours, EJ Saunders is going to be here. He's driving down right now from Utah to have dinner with me. And we're going to have Mexican food because we had Korean barbecue last time. And we're probably not going to talk too much about digital marketing. And he'll probably post it on Facebook. I can tell you what's going to happen because I've had these sorts of meals hundreds. I mean, look, there's proof. I've had lots of meals like this. And when he posts a 1-minute video of him and I eating birria tacos, birria in Mexican food, like that's like the rage, right? The beef where you dip it in the juice. It's delicious, right? You guys have seen that? Like that in the last 6 months, that's become the thing in Mexican food, right? And he'll post a picture or video. What that does is it shows connection between him and I. It doesn't even matter, Corey, what the story is. It doesn't even matter. I'll probably be wearing the same shirt, right? I could probably be professional if I wanted to, but I don't want to ruin a nice shirt because it's going to drip juice like the birria. The birria, you dip it in the juice, and like I don't want it to do all that. So the casual moments it's almost like a flex when you're around well-known people if you're dressing casually, right? Because someone who's dressed up way too nice, you think like they're a salesperson or they're at a wedding. It's like weddings, funerals, or salespeople. Like, why else would you dress up, right? So you can, and the last point I'll make, which is probably the most important one for what you're asking, you can take any story and you can extrapolate it into something that is relevant. So anyone give me a story, like Corey, give me some random thing that happened in your life today or yesterday, and I'll extrapolate the bigger meaning out of it.
We our landlord is a douche, so we got a new office. We're moving, and the new place is a bank, and so it still has the teller window and the drive-through and all that stuff, and it's going to be a really unique space for an agency to move into.
Yeah. Okay. So there's 3 different angles here I can think of. I'm sure you can think of more. One angle is, hey, this is our old office and we're being forced to move because the landlord's a douche. But you know what? Everything that's a problem is actually a blessing in disguise because our agency's growing and we need a bigger space. And plus, this new place is a bank. And what cooler place than something like this to attract better talent in Utah, and just a fun play where, with lawyers, we can say, we're gonna take you. We literally are in a bank. We're gonna help you make bank. Right? There's so many different angles. So any story. So the idea of a why video is you have some kind of story, like this woman was, cut me off in the Starbucks parking lot this morning or whatever. Just something happened. Doesn't matter. It could be good or bad. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be bad. But from that story, you extrapolate the deeper meaning. So the idea of a why story is, when I was at Sky Zone yesterday, I did what did I do? I did a dunk. I did an alley-oop. Someone threw the ball at me. I caught it and I dunked it. And the guy, Ray, who has 3.5 million followers on YouTube, he saw that and cheered and came up to me and high-fived me and all that. And so I'm going to be in one of his YouTube videos in the next few days. And I was just so excited about that. Now, that has nothing to do with anything. But then I can extrapolate from that moment. So let's see. Let's think about 2 or 3 angles I could use. One angle is because you never know when that moment is going to happen of opportunity where you get your 5 minutes of fame. And when it happens, you've got to be ready for that. Or it could be, like for me, that was an exhilarating experience, but I learned so much from this guy, Ray, who's a professional basketball player and has like a 50-inch vertical. My vertical might be 15 inches, but I learned so much from someone like that about, whatever it is. Or let's see, another angle is, I mocked the Golden State Warriors for losing the basketball game 2 days ago, and how Steph Curry missed the buzzer, the shot that would have helped them win. He missed. It was easy for me to mock him until I tried to play basketball myself and found how much more difficult that was. Right? You can see how with any story, it's not even the story, Corey. It's how you extrapolate it into the deeper lesson. And the deeper lesson is what reflects your values and what's important to you, and says that you are the kind of person that other people can trust, that share similar values, right? So what are those values that I'm broadcasting? You see what I'm saying? It's your ability to turn it into the message. It's not the story itself. You can do it into any story, right?
Yeah. So I think that's the answer to my question, is just that as long as it has some insight, that's the outcome.
There's always some insight. Like anyone here, do you have a story that you want to share? Something that happened? I'll show you how we can turn it into something that has a bigger lesson, bigger story, bigger something.
If I may jump in, I've got some notes and a few things to rattle on.
Okay.
So in that situation, so obviously we're broadcasting values as the point, or a value per video,
Right.
and we're trying to keep it not like more, I say casual, like not business suit. I'm assuming no logo.
No, over edited is what doesn't work. And see, people want to see, they keeping it real, the whole authentic thing.
Right,
So
and not even the thing at the end. Like I think you mentioned it. Like you're not even saying anything about what you do.
No, you just have one sentence. I'm Rob Jensen, and I buy and sell homes in Las Vegas.
Just one sentence at the end is fine.
Yep, that's it. That way they know who you are. But the thing is, most people start with, I'm Rob Jensen, and I do real estate in Las Vegas. Like they've already scrolled past you at that point. Your intro is actually what you put at the end.
Right.
What you put
right.
at the beginning
Now-
is the hook. The hook is how you get their attention. This one thing happened, and then you won't believe what happened next. This other, she said this.
Yeah, and on the reels, I understand the goal to keep it 60 seconds or less. We've done a fair amount of, I'm sorry, the videos. We did a fair amount of reels on just different information behind the scenes advice that maybe are a little over 60 seconds, but we didn't get off topic.
Okay,
So, like,
but
that
you
might
got to
be
keep
all right.
it at one topic. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, we did. We stuck to one
Okay.
topic or just, one topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look.
We put a video up in the
But
chat.
yeah.
Okay, so
That's
these
not-
here, right?
Well, I'm thinking of doing something different though. Okay, so you're on our Instagram. So if you go to reels, yeah.
Okay.
And then
You should be
scroll
boosting
down.
these posts because you don't have enough. Oh, I didn't follow this one. Is this a new one? I thought I followed you before.
Yeah, I think you got my personal.
Okay. Well, you can
So if
boost
you
both.
scroll
of
down
them.
more, these are podcast clips. If you
Okay.
scroll down more, we've got talking head stuff, but it's buried because we haven't posted them in a while.
Okay.
Keep going, keep going. There we go, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So this is TikTok-y, which is nice because there's the big text over the top instead of what used to work, which is the hero where you had the title on the top and then you put the stuff on the bottom, which worked when you had horizontal video and then you had to try to make it vertical with the two white bars on the top and bottom. But now with the TikTok style, because it's white text and white navigation, this part here on the right, you have to leave open so you can repurpose the TikTok and Instagram and all that. But this is good because it's very clear what you're talking about. You might try some that are not just in front of this. What is this, like a Picasso you have in the back?
Of course. I mean, we have some other backgrounds. If you keep scrolling, we just
Yeah.
kind of got a little heavy on the.
So this
podcast.
looks almost too good, Rob, because it's professionally shot. There's this handsome person talking who could almost be an actor, but I know this is you. And you could try ones that are walk and talk. So the best thing for any kind of video, but especially on TikTok, is when you actually demonstrate something. So when you're walking through a home, when you're talking with the lender, when you're like these ones are a little bit better. Like that, when you take people along, like you actually show them instead of tell them. So think about everyone here. Think about the thing that you do. Can you show them as you're doing the thing instead of just like in the conference room talking about it, right? Some things like, okay, fine, this average price, whatever, like that's not something you show because you're explaining a concept, right? And this green screen where you have an article in the back and you're giving your input on that works too. And the same way that you can play a clip side by side of some other pundit, Warren Buffett yesterday said, prepare for, the market going to crash. And then you give you're basically surfing his notoriety, right? By saying, well, and then what you think about what he said, like, you know what I mean? Like a reaction,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Like that'll work. But what I see here, which is not necessarily bad, but I see mostly Rob Jensen. And, Rob Jensen's the figurehead, which is great. And so all of us, we'd start out with ourselves as the figurehead, but the more you can show you interacting with other people, it's even better. Not just because, hey, I'm well connected in Las Vegas, but I'm a relationship driven kind of person. I'm not just one guy trying to say, I'm the public figure and I'm telling you what's going on with the market and telling you about the trends and telling you about, whatever, right? And plus it's just better to have, like, here, what is this, like a drone shot you have?
Yeah, that one's just a photo.
It's just a listing or
Normally we
whatever.
have
Okay.
drone shots, but that's just a library, like a
Okay.
slide.
But where you have motion, like walk and talks,
Yep.
walk and talks works surprisingly well. And I'm surprised people don't do that. Like if you guys aren't doing walk and talks, which I know initially feels kind of douchey because you're like, if other people are around and you're doing a walk and talk and you're holding the cell phone up like this, people think that guy's a douchebag. But they don't actually think that. That's just in your head. But when there's motion, that keeps people's attention. Keeping people's attention increases your view through rate. So you want to get 25, 30% of people watching all the way through on your videos. If they're not, then, you're making a mistake. Like you could look at my reels and see the analytics on them and see, which of them are getting to 20 or 30%. It's not going to be, well, on my profile. See, now you can see the stuff I'm interested in. But I can look at the stats on any of these ones. And well, this is not a video, but this is whatever. Like you can see how many people are engaging. I want 10%. I did not get 10% because if I reach 31,000, I need 3,000. I only got 500. So that didn't hit it, right? I could boost it again. See the boost button or boosting post. It didn't work. I thought it would have worked, but it didn't. Actually, it did work. It did drive sales. A lot of you guys came to the program because you saw this, but generally want 10% engagement, right? There's lots of this stuff like this Cuba Gooding Jr. Did I get 10%? Got 100 people who liked it. How many people saw it? I did hit 10%. Look, 1,000 people, and I need 116 for 10%. I got 132. I should probably boost this. And then what's the story? Well, I could probably have said a little bit more. Jeremy says, did you ask them to show me the money because of the Tom Cruise movie, But literally, like, we want 10%. Let's see. Did I get 10% here? All right. This is my buddy Rihan who said something. This is what he told me. I always loved saying, I love it when a figurehead gives me advice. And then I reflect that advice because it makes me look good because it's like, oh, wow, this Dennis knows this guy and this guy gave him advice. Well, I thought this was pretty good, but it sucked. 1,600 people saw it. I got 92 people to engage. That's like 7%. It's not 10%. It's like half of what I need to have, right? Here's Parker's thing. I thought this would be decent because he's tearing money, but maybe the fake money is too low for people to see. We didn't rip it fast enough. Yeah, we got like 7%, right? You see what I'm saying? The whole dollar a day is I'm trying to find things that are 10%. Either organically they're 10% or I boost it and it gets 10%. But you see how this is more interesting, right? Like I'm getting people, like I know like money is like a cheap way of trying to get attention, but what are different ways to try to get people's attention? This girl got a bronze medal in the Olympics. I thought that was cool because I ran track and field too.
Question by you?
Do what?
Can I throw another question by you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So on a technical point of view, when it comes to location, so we do real estate in Las Vegas, and primarily in going through there's key zip codes that we like to work in because generally we're trying to meet new sellers that are in these higher end luxury neighborhoods. So there's about, I don't remember, 6 or 7 zip codes that YouTube allows us to market to, but we've gone through Axiom to get about an audience of 50 to 60,000 in those zip codes. So is it still fine to use that as like the
for you because you're a local. So Rob, you're a local service business. You have it easier than everyone else here because you are going behind those gated communities, is what you're calling it, the gated lifestyle. Is that what you call it in your videos? Then like TikTok just released zip code targeting. Google allows for zip code targeting. You can set your areas in your local service ads, right? Google LSA. You can get it through Axiom and other ways where you're doing geo targeting, but I think if you target by if you don't have zip code, if you target by Las Vegas and then a lookalike audience against people who are buyers and sellers, a 1% lookalike, that'll already attract the right people. But because you're doing a lot of luxury real estate, so anyone who does something luxury, the risk of using engagement as a primary filter is it's going to attract a lot of wannabe people, right? Like I think I told you, we did this for McLaren, who was a competitor to Ferrari. And we had a lot of 17-year-old kids that were engaging on our content, which were not people that were going to go to the dealerships that we were opening in the United States, right? So with luxury, you do have the issue of people who will engage who are not actually customers. But for you, Rob, because of the nature of the content you have in mid-funnel, I think even if you did engagement targeted just to Las Vegas, that would still work for you because of the nature, like we're looking for people who actually watch all the way through.
Right, but I mean, one of the other things you put on originally was like an age minimum of, I think depending on what it was either 25 or 30 as an
Right.
age minimum, because same thing, it's like my thought process is like, I'd love for the video to go viral, but yet to have 15-year-olds watch it's not really, they're not.
Yeah, I
buying
think
what I'm
25
selling.
plus you could do that, but I think that the nature, so this is the thing with demographic targeting. If you choose interest targets or if your content's on point, then the demographic targeting is already built in. Like the system's already going to do that. I'm sure Mr. Kyle has some thoughts here. He runs marketing for Paperless Agent. Maybe you want to share some
Yeah, I
thoughts.
was curious in the first place how you guys get around zip codes if with fair housing rules and most having to be a special ad category for housing. Is Axiom the way you guys sort of get around and get the geographic details? So that'd be my question. But then sort of what we've been doing to get around it is in the videos we do, so Paperless Agent has like marketing for real estate agents, but we also have a brokerage we do marketing for. So for our sort of like small team, we create videos and we try to let the algorithm do the work. By in the first few seconds, we'll be like, hey, Westlake Hills, which is like a luxury market in Austin. So we try to identify the audience in the first few seconds of the video so that like we can basically train it for people who watch beyond that part, right? Knowing that like we've called them out. If you keep watching, you're likely in that group. So we'll sort of like do a video view audience of the first 5 seconds and then sort of train it to get more viewers like that is how we've been sort of trying to get our targeting to the right people.
Yeah. So one of the guys we work with is living in Dallas, and I think they have a few 100,000 subs on YouTube. And they start, to your point, Kyle, they start with, hey, here's what's going on in Garland. Or if you're looking for a house in Denton, Texas, and they put the big text. So it's very obvious that that's what's going on. So there's 3 things at play. One is you put in big text, you say the city name, right? So it's only applicable for that neighborhood. Number 2 is the background initially is showing just that area. And especially on TikTok with facial recognition and image recognition, it absolutely recognizes that neighborhood. That's why if you just do the Picasso in the back, you're not allowing the algorithm to really see that that's the neighborhood that you're talking about, because it absolutely uses that in your targeting. And then 3, to Kyle's point, which is the most important part, is the algorithm will sub-target for you. So generally demographic targeting is not necessary, because it'll often exclude people where you don't know their gender or age or whatnot, but they would have been in your target audience, right?
So really quick, just to jump in, if you can take a look at the chat, we put up a video. We were running these before we started the program. 15-second pre-roll ads on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I love YouTube. YouTube is my favorite place right now to run ads.
And I'm going to recap with Kyle after the fact and watch the recording because I got to run to 2 o'clock. But I love you guys. Thank you.
Hang on a sec. Let me just replay this. Okay.
So I think one of the successes of selling so quickly was the marketing efforts by Rob Benson Company.
Your guide through the gates. Okay. Well, so this is a testimonial.
Yes, and we had longer format ones, but we started running 15-second pre-roll ads, chopping them up within our areas and just running them as awareness of the company.
So I think
already getting our mailers or blasts, just reinforcing.
Yeah, I think this is good. I think that the first 10 seconds where you have a happy client, but then that last 10 seconds, you just there's no voiceover. It's just playing the music and it shows some text.
Got it.
And people connecting with people, they need to see Rob or you, they need to see other people, right?
Okay.
Hey, I'm Rob. And, I love working with people like Brian, give me a call. And, we specifically serve the gated communities and that's it, or whatever is the 1-sentence thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be a personal injury attorney where it's like your face everywhere, but you still have to show something, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I like it where it starts with the client success, but maybe if there's a little bit, I know with 15 seconds, you can only do so much, but there's different ways of running YouTube ads. It doesn't have to be 15 seconds. You can have 10 minutes as a pre-roll, skippable ads, right?
Yeah.
And the most powerful YouTube ads are the pre-roll ads where they're a minute long and you're trying to disqualify them in the first 30 seconds because you're only charged once they go to 30 seconds. So you say, if you are not in this situation, if you do not have this problem, please skip, right? Please, do not, you're actively discouraging them, because with the True View ads on YouTube, and then after the 30 seconds, because the 30 seconds is a disqualify. Then after that, then you're trying to sell at that point, right? For the next 30 seconds. So there's a whole framework on how you do that. Yeah.
We've actually been running lots of why videos for the real estate side of things, similar to that. But we interviewed, like one of our top producers, and just sort of had like their personal story, which is pretty moving, on how they got into the business, took over their dad's real estate practice when he passed away and stuff. We've just taken clips of that and rolled that for awareness campaigns, and they work great. You do see like the audience sort of self-selecting, because he talks about, oh yeah, I'm an agent who serves Westlake or Lakeway in Austin, Texas, and like then it starts getting into the meat of the story. But people looking for a realtor in Austin, Texas, then are like, oh, who's this guy? And we have had people reach out to us saying like, yeah, I know you guys from the YouTube ads. So those have been working well for us. I've tried both in feed and pre-stream. I think both are pretty good. It's just slightly different videos for both for us.
Cool.
Yep. Well, Kyle and Rob are pros, but I'm curious to see, what do other folks have? Where are you guys at? Are you stuck is anyone stuck and needs a rescue or doesn't know what to do? Just want to make sure, we get to meet each week, but it's not just here. You can ask in Facebook. You can even ask me personally or ask our other people. My goal here is to make sure that you're successful with Dollar a Day. You implement it, which means you have to have the right content. You have to have the right targeting. The strategy's got to be in place. You got to track where your leads are coming from, all that, right?
If I could jump into this, I got a quick question for you on how you structure the three. So you have like the 3x3 grid. Do you do broad targeting for each of those categories, or do you try to build them on each other? So do you try to move people down the funnel? Like if
that's
people
a great
watch
question.
the first tier, do you move them to the next? Yeah.
So if you are a local area business like Rob, then there's not enough of an audience to be able to do the custom audiences of people who viewed X, percent, that kind of thing. So I like to do broad. If it's a geo, if you're limited by the city, then I just run everything broad. And all the other top people on Facebook, as you know, and in any social targeting, are basically saying broad, because the algorithm is doing the targeting for you. In other words, your content itself is doing the targeting. The main input is your content, not targeting or people who saw this video, then will see that video. That we used to do that. For national businesses or B2B, like what you have, because the leads are worth so much, then you absolutely do set that. And the more expensive the product or service, the more touches are necessary to drive the sale. Therefore, you do need remarketing. You need 60 touches. I mean, I'm curious to see, we should probably look at your analytics and see like how many touches it takes. How many emails do they need to get? Like that's a touch. How many videos do they watch? How many webinars do they go to? How many, the average agent in your program, I would have to think it's 60 to 100, right? If you add that up. So yes,
I have to think about it, but yeah, probably.
I've seen we've seen, so you do paperless agent, but I've seen the equivalent of paperless agent in other verticals, and it's 60 is about the number. So I'm not saying you're just trying to willy-nilly load 60 impressions on everybody. That's not, but it just, when your funnel's optimized, it just ends up being around 60.
Why aren't they helping?
What's that, Alicia? Oh, she's on mute. Okay. So I think that like if you're not a local area business is constrained because of the nature of just being in that one city. But if I'm Jason and I'm helping other people start pressure washing companies, that's a national target. I'm for sure going to set up a ton of remarketing. And I'm going to put a ton of stuff on why and how, because people need to first see that Jason's a successful pressure washer. They need to see, unfortunately, like a little bit of the lifestyle, a little bit of the struggle, a little motivational speaker kind of stuff, right? But not too much. You don't have to drive Lamborghinis, but you need to show that you're successful. Incredible. Then the how, which is where he's like, he had a live stream a couple days ago, and that was great. Like 60 people were there or whatever. That's awesome. That's all content that can be repurposed. And then we're going to remarket to that. Look, if someone attended my live stream, if someone came to my website, for sure they were interested. I need to remarket the crap out of that, right? And so because once I get the email, then I can, message. I consider $1 a day, or I consider like email marketing and Facebook ads and like chat bots and all of them I consider a subset of $1 a day, because $1 a day is really just setting up a funnel, a sequence of messaging, right? Whether it's paid or organic, I don't care. I know they've got to get a certain number of touches before I'm Jason and they buy my coaching program on how to start my own pressure washing business, because it's the mindset and you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to get the equipment. You have to price it. You have to market in your neighborhood. You have to, like when we set up Yahoo Personals, which is a dating site for Yahoo, I thought it'd be like, hey, find attractive women in your neighborhood. That's what I thought. It didn't work because people had to, it wasn't that and sometimes we'd have like, a discount, like you could get in for like $10 instead of $30 a month to subscribe, like sales or whatever. But that wasn't what it was. What it was that people needed to get into the mindset that they were ready to date. They needed to buy new clothes. They needed to start like a fitness program. They needed to like be in the mindset of like being able to go out and be on dates and like be ready and like that. So all that kind of stuff is necessary for most of us here, right? I look at what Ross, Dan Euland, Kyle, I mean, these are all business owners that are making business decisions. If I'm going to start a green franchise with Ross, yes, there's information about, okay, it's like a $30K franchise fee. And yes, there's the healthy green thing. And there's other successful franchisees. And here's how it works. And here's the menu. And like, yeah, that's all true. Just like with the dating site, like make a profile and send out messages and go on dates. Like, yeah, that's true. But the same thing for Dan, right? Yeah, here's the process of going to, you apply for colleges and you have your wish, your best thing, and then you're like your average thing, and then you're like fall back if you don't get the thing you want, or like there's all this, like the actual process of doing the thing that you're doing. But we miss on the psychology of what else is required. So if I'm going to open a business with Ross, then there's a lot of other kinds of businesses I could open. I could start a pressure washing business with Jason. I don't know anything about home services. I could try to open my own Subway, which would be a horrible decision today. Or I could, start my own restaurant, or, there's like, and I have to be in the mindset and I have to think about, can I be successful and will I be able to see this through? Will I fail? I mean, these other people made it, but what about me? And will there be help? And can I trust this Ross guy? I mean, he seems credible, but I don't really know him. Like, who is he, the real deal or not? I guess I'll Google him and see whether his thing shows up, or, what's there. And are the other franchises successful or not? I'm sure some are and some aren't. I mean, what is it that governs who wins and who doesn't? I mean, these are all these other questions that you need to answer, right? And so the funnel, these 1-minute videos help pre-answer those objections before they occur. Does that make sense? Because you could hire anybody, like Dan. How many other, if I wanted to get into a great college, right? Like, how many other choices would I have besides your thing? A zillion, right?
Exactly 1 zillion.
Yeah. So then you're always answering the unspoken question of, yeah, but why should I go with you? So the whole thing of building perceived authority is overcoming that. That's the whole point of this, like $1 a day and all that, is building trust and all that to get them to the point where they know that it's going to be a good experience and it will work for them. Not just like, yeah, all these other people succeeded, but I don't know if it'll actually work for me. Right. Okay. So we are at the top of the hour, but I can keep going, but I want to be respectful of your time. But I'm here to make sure that everyone gets their questions answered and moves along in this implementation, right? I want to see implementation. Does everyone believe that by next week they can have 9 1-minute videos, whether it's them, pulling out their iPhone and just making it, or they're using what they already have, or you're like Rob Jensen, or Kyle's got a ton of videos already. Is there anyone who has some kind of blockage, psychological or whatever, that prevents them from getting these things in place so that it lives on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and it lives on the website. You know, take the videos and you just publish it to all these places. Okay, so next week, and don't wait till next week. Post it in the office hours group, right? Just so that we have accountability. You know, the reason why people hire a personal trainer. Do you think the personal trainer knows like more about how to curl a bicep thing, you know, bicep curls than you do? No, it's for the accountability. So the accountability is I want to see that we're all busy. There's lots of things going on in our lives, but can we agree that each of us here is going to post our 1-minute videos and put that into our office hours Facebook group just for accountability? Yeah. Before we meet next week. Yeah. So Andy says yes. Corey, yep. All right. I see Dan is nodding.
They're going to suck, but I'm going to post them. Absolutely.
Hey, you know what? The more you post, the faster you get past the
Absolutely.
suck. Your first video
suck before you succeed. So you know me, Dennis. I give sucking 1,000%. Go for it.
I still suck and I do it.
Go big or go home when it comes to sucking.
Yeah.
Which is the title of my program, actually. You know, and
yeah.
Quick question, Dennis. A procedural question. Are we meeting on the 24th? Because there's the event in Chicago.
Oh, you know what? We might have to move that one because I wasn't sure until I saw today. I'm the MC of that event.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So I guess I have to literally. I thought I was initially just.
It's going to be tough for you to do both unless you do have
can't do both.
A doppelganger.
Unless maybe Florian or Parker wants to run that, because that's going to be optimization. You know, the best person to run that would probably be Daniel Goodrich on our team for optimization. Because optimization arguably is the most powerful of all the segments that we're teaching here. Because once you've made your 1-minute videos, once you've posted them and boosted them, and now you're trying to evaluate which ones are winning and why, that I believe is more important. That kind of troubleshooting and, you know, finding the winners and then why did they win, and then being able to make more versions and put more money against the winners and kill the losers, which I know sounds Darwinian, but that's what you have to do. That is a skill. I've never seen anyone teach that, because people are so into like the making of, it's so sexy to launch these new campaigns. Yeah. Well, how about now you got a mess. You've got 50 campaigns. Now what? Right. So I think Daniel might be the best to teach that, even though I can teach it too. That's what we call MAA, metrics analysis action. Yeah, it might be so good. If you like it, we'll do another one too. I just want to, I don't want to be stuck in like, oh, we only have 6 weeks. Program's over. See you guys later. I want to make sure you guys win. Okay. Yeah. So digital plumbing is in that course. I don't want to go through it. We have it all recorded. Mainly you have to make sure you're upgraded to Google Analytics 4 and you have Google Tag Manager. And then all your pixels are inside your Tag Manager container. Pretty boring, but it is necessary, because if you don't feed the data, and I'll just leave you with this last thought. If you don't feed the system 2 things, you will fail. One is you have to feed it the right content, which is what today was about. Number 2, you have to have digital plumbing, meaning the right signal, the conversions and the pixels and what people are doing, all that, which is captured through the pixel. If you feed those 2 things in there, your advertising is 80% done. And you can talk to Qasim Aslam or whoever, all these guys, you know, Robert Burns or Ralph Burns, they will all agree, Perry, they will all agree with what I just said. You feed those 2 things in, your advertising is already 80% done. Yep. Yep. Andy, to your question, we're still looking for the same engagement. Still the 10% rule applies. Yep. Glad you're working out. That's like working out your mind and your body. Love it. Awesome. Anything else, guys? Cool. Well, love you guys. I'm glad you're here. Thumbs up. All right. Catch you guys later.